College basketball season is over.
Officially.
NCAA tournament in the books for the men and women. Michigan, UCLA, your champs. We'll talk about those two games and the runs through the Final Four. Ash is blinged out in some shaker gear here. There you go. Oh, look at that.
Thanks to the cheer squad.
Okay.
I got a little,
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Represent.
Yeah. We've got a WNBA mock draft. We've got Siena-Syracuse college basketball news. We're going to talk with UAlbany men's lacrosse head coach Scott Marr ahead of that Siena-UAlbany game, which carries so much meaning this year, of course, remembering the late Liam Gleason. A lot of different things to do here on the show. Our dirty, difficult done in terms of the Lakers' chances now at a championship. And it's Masters Week. Let's go. It's Onorato and Miller.
This is Onorato and Miller, sponsored by Alpen House.
All right, we get into the month of April here. Baseball season, NFL draft not that far off now, just a couple of weeks away. So we're kind of in between things, right? I mean, after we get through the college basketball season, but now we've got
NBA playoffs.
Yep, no doubt about
playoffs.
Masters Week. There's always something to keep us occupied and busy and talking sports.
Sometimes we just have to change our interests a little bit.
For sure. And that takes me a little bit of time. The routine of baseball season, like,
turn it on every night, basically.
You could.
Every day.
Or
night.
you could skip a few nights if you wanted to. So, yeah, we were watching the Braves. This was live on a Wednesday.
I watched the Yanks last night.
Yep.
Missed all the fun.
Off to a great start. New York 8-2 as we do this show again live on a Wednesday. If you're catching us over the weekend on TV, thanks for finding us every single weekend.
Hopefully we're 11-2.
Oh, okay.
Or whatever.
Yeah. Michigan wins its first championship in men's basketball since 1989. And we said this in the newsroom and somebody goes, "Oh yeah, the Fab Five." I said, "No, yeah, the Fab Five." I said, they got to back-to-back title games, did not win one of them. And so it was
pre-Fab Five.
Yes, a Ramil Robinson team at Michigan in 1989 that won it all. Anyway, the Wolverines do this in interesting but modern college basketball style, defeating UConn. The Huskies were
all
going
the
for
transfers.
A third title in 4 years with Dan Hurley and couldn't get it done. Correct. Dusty May, in just year number 2, wins it with a starting 5 made up of transfer players. Now, a couple of freshmen who were key guys on this team, but still.
And a couple of guys who it's not their first year. They're second-year transfer players.
Yeah, right. They came to Michigan with Dusty when he kind of made the move from FAU to Ann Arbor. But you look at the NIL budget, so everybody's saying $10 million is about the baseline. Kentucky spent $20 million
which is
this
kind
past
of
year.
Which is why I think, like, okay, well, how legit is it? Because if Kentucky basically doubled everyone else's NIL money and can't compete, then I have a hard time believing all of it is really. It's part of the players you get and spend that money on. So
Nick Saban has famously said, if you don't pick the right guys, you're blank out of luck. You could spend all the money you want. If you're not picking the right guys and it's not fitting correctly and you don't have the right coach, guess what? You're going to go the way of Kansas State. Kansas State spent a ton of money in the portal, and their head coach was fired after basically blaming the players. Well, you're the one who brought them in. So anyway, Michigan wins by 6. Tough for those people who are on the Wolverines. A 6.5-point spread in Vegas, and Dusty May gets it done in year 2.
I mean, what a
job by this guy.
And we've talked about, listen, it's not quite to the level of Indiana. People are comparing it to like, oh, it's the Big Ten. It's Indiana football had some kind of revelation.
No.
That was like a resurrection of an entire program. Michigan was bad, but only for a few years. Like Michigan historically has been good at times in basketball. So it's not fair to compare. I don't think
Michigan was in the title game in 2018, I think. This was a resurrection. Indiana was a birth.
Right.
It
never happened.
That program was never really any good. Michigan at least has Final Fours, it has titles. Indiana football was never a factor on the college landscape.
I mean, listen, he took FAU to a Final Four.
Yes, he did.
That alone tells me you're a good coach because you've taken what is basically a mid-major, essentially, to the Final Four. And then in 2 years, and I get it, you're using transfers and whatever, but you did what you had to do to get a power like Michigan to the top. Took you 2 years.
Yep. No doubt about it. Brian's checking in. Brian, good to see you.
Hey, Brian.
Your buddy Brent.
What's up, Brent?
Is on with us here as well. And Sam checking in. Sam, always good to have you, buddy. All right, so that's the story on the men's championship side. Here locally, right in the capital region, Siena officially introduces Nevada Smith. And I heard in an interview with Siena's play-by-play guy, is it Nevada or Nevada? And the new head coach said, well, I guess it kind of depends where you live in the country, how you pronounce it. That's very kind of him to say.
Sure.
The correct pronunciation of the state and therefore his name, no matter where you live. This is not regionalized, right? Every state has a proper pronunciation. It's not like, you have an accent of some sort that changed. It's Nevada. The state is Nevada. The same way, would you hear New Jersey pronounced differently somewhere? Or Washington? Well, it depends where you go. It could be Washington. But
no, it's not quite the same, though.
You get what I'm saying here? It's like, it's Nevada. That's how you pronounce the state. And
people who live there are probably more likely to say Nevada than, which don't you think people who live there would know?
West of the Mississippi is old Nevada. It's the East Coast. We're the problem.
We say it?
Too many people go Nevada. Soft A on it.
Nevada.
Yeah. Anyway, Nevada Smith, 45 years old.
Said? Yeah. Nevada.
Yeah. 45 years old, named after a literary character.
Oh, in what?
I knew you were gonna. I don't know. Either the work
cool.
is called Carpetbaggers or the character was a carpetbagger.
Okay.
I didn't do my homework on that one. He's 45 years old, 22 years of experience across a multitude of levels, Division III, Division II, Division I, as an assistant, never a head coach at the D1 level, but he was, to Ash's point, professionally back when it was the D League. Now the G League. So he's been a bunch of different places.
Rave reviews, as you see pop up, Eric Spoelstra, Duncan Robinson, guys who
Tom Crean,
are somebody in basketball.
And learned through his introductory press conference that he's lived in the capital region.
Yes, he has.
Before. Got married in Boston Spa.
Yeah.
Who knew, right? So now back in the 5-1-8.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, and everybody says he plays an exciting brand of basketball. In the same interview I watched today, he said, I'll be surprised if we don't attempt 40 or more threes a game.
Holy smokes.
That's a lot of threes.
I hope you're good at shooting them because that's going to get old real quick if you're not.
Well, yeah, you recruit guys who can shoot, right? If that's your philosophy and your style, you find guys who can make enough threes where if you're shooting 40 of them, can you make 17?
Yeah, that's
a big number. 17 is a big number, right? We talked about Michigan and like, well, if they make double-digit threes, they're going to be tough to beat. You don't want to go 12 of 40, though. So if you're going to take that many, you need to find a way to make some. We'll hopefully catch up with Nevada Smith in a little bit here.
Couple weeks, not little bit as in this show.
Oh.
Right? No.
Yeah. Tim. Yeah. It's true. It's true.
Most coaches will say, like, if you're willing to live by it, you have to also be willing to die by it. But most coaches are okay with that.
No doubt about it. The philosophy is it'll kind of even itself out over time.
Yeah.
At least two guys who won't be back. And look, largely Smith is going to have to rebuild this entire roster at Siena. Gavin Doty, Tasman Goodrick going from the Saints to the Orange following Jerry McNamara. Doty is no surprise.
Right.
Didn't know what would happen with a guy like Francis Folafak, but it's Tasman Goodrick who goes into the portal and ends up at Syracuse. So how many Siena guys is GMAC going to be able to take to the ACC program?
He's probably not 2 or 3.
But Doty's the key here.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, and Doty, in my mind, will be a starter. But he's only got 2 years left. So my guess is he'll be a starter. I don't know that you're not going to get 5 stars to come play for you by next year. So you're not going to basically out recruit Gavin Doty already. And then by his senior year, I think you just kind of give it to him and he starts. And even if you have guys who are maybe pretty good.
Donnie Freeman potentially leaving the program.
Yep.
He's into the portal. Doesn't mean he's gone for sure.
Yep. But GMAC will have a little bit of a rebuild too. I mean, he's going to have guys who are staying and he's going to offer the door to other guys and say, like, it's probably better that you leave. My guess is Donnie Freeman wasn't one of those guys, but there are other guys who have left already because I think they realize their roles will not be what they were.
Yep.
So, yeah, listen, I just want like a better brand of basketball, and I think you'll get it quickly be better next year, and then we'll see how much better it gets and how quickly in the years that follow. Yeah, I'm glad. I mean, it's cool. Gavin Doty going home. Yeah. Fulton, New York is like 20 minutes. Right? Yeah, 20 minutes, half hour from Syracuse. Yeah. Like it's like a kid from Saratoga going to play at Siena. Really cool.
Yeah. And McNamara will bring Arinze Anawaku and Ben Lee from his Siena assistant coaching staff to Syracuse as well. Lee was kind of a hot name. He isn't even yet 30 years old. And so he will probably rise through the ranks quickly with the rate he's going, but his next stop is Syracuse anyway.
And Arinze is one of my all-time favorite Syracuse players.
Yeah, you've said that a lot for sure.
My dude.
Yeah. All right, let's spend some time on this because this was one of the more interesting twists in the post-NCAA tournament news. North Carolina, and I'm not going to say that the Tar Heels couldn't find somebody to take the job. I don't even know that the job was offered to a lot of these guys who were saying like, nope, I'm staying. I'm good. The Tommy Lloyds, the Dustin Mays of the world, right? Do we know for sure that they were offered the North Carolina job?
Ben McCollum.
Right. Or was it just these guys putting to bed the rumor that they might leave for another program?
Or like using UNC to get more money at their current job? Because most of them did that. I don't know if they did that, but most of them got that advantage from the UNC job.
Yeah, absolutely. And so Carolina turns to Michael Malone as its next head coach. Won a title with the Nuggets in the NBA. He's highly regarded in the coaching circles for the way he thinks and sees the game and approaches it. And all of that's great. But the name of the game, as we've just detailed with Michigan,
you're going to need to get some assistants who can NIL the heck out of
this thing. Getting into the portal and finding the right players. Just simply recruiting high school kids or getting a collection of players and implementing your system is not good enough.
Listen, recruiting high school kids is great if you can take them away from Duke and get them into your system and they're going to stay for more than a year and you're not going to end up with 5 one-and-dones and still run into the same problem Duke has and that you have no experience in the playoffs. I think it's good to have a mix. Like, hey, give me 2 one-and-dones and give me 3 portal guys who I'm going to take from a mid-major or something like that who are going to do what Michigan did. Those guys were guys who came either with Dusty May or from other programs and succeeded at the highest level at Michigan. So I think that you kind of have to replicate that, but you need to be able to home grow guys in some way, I think, too. So
is this going to work?
I don't see it working.
I saw a funny meme after Carolina hired Bill Belichick. Now Michael Malone, somebody posted something on Twitter that said, introducing North Carolina's new baseball coach, Tony La Russa.
Yeah. I mean, it's not quite the same. Malone's daughter goes to UNC, which is kind of cool. Plays volleyball there, I think.
I like him a lot.
Yeah, me too.
He's a very good coach.
Me too. I just think you have to put the right people on your staff. You have to get young guys who can recruit in the portal. And then, maybe you just leave it to him to coach basketball. And maybe that's the plan is like, I just want to coach basketball. Yeah. Let's go get the players to do it. You guys figure out the rest.
And you know what, Ash? At the end of the day, so much of this just becomes a conversation of,
hey, I can get you the NBA.
How much money does North Carolina have to spend?
But also, I can get you the NBA.
That helps. Like,
how long did I spend as an NBA coach? I know what I'm talking about. I think like that's part of it for Belichick is like, can you make me an NFL ready player? The answer is yes. We can't win games because we're not good enough, but I can make you an NFL ready player. I have the connections to get you. Okay. Sometimes that's enough.
The sport is better when North Carolina, UCLA,
100%.
Duke, Kentucky, when those teams are good, the sport is better.
100%.
Whether you love them or hate them, right? It's they have to be relevant for us to either root for or against. So I'm hoping it works with Michael Malone at North Carolina. I still would not have fired Hubert Davis.
Right.
On the record for that. In the women's game here, UCLA, how about it?
Woo-hoo!
Right? I mean, after South Carolina beat UConn in the national semifinal, it was so physical. Right? The Gamecocks were so physically dominant in that game against the Huskies that it felt like, well,
if they're going to do that,
they're going to beat UCLA or Texas, whoever wins that other semifinal game. It ends up being the Bruins. And I mean, the blowout, my goodness here. I don't know how to explain that up. Just kind of maybe South Carolina thinking, well, we already beaten the undefeated team in the country, and UConn will find a way Sunday afternoon against UCLA. But
yeah, I think some of it is, listen, everyone knows what South Carolina is, what Staley brings to the table, what they've done over the last 5 years. UCLA is on the West Coast. It's not a team people see a lot. And while you hear a name like Lauren Betts, you think, okay, 1 through 5, are they good enough to compete? And I think people just don't know the answer until you get on the floor with a team like South Carolina, despite the record.
Yeah.
I mean, the record was insane. They had 1 loss this year.
Loss.
Like that's as good as anything UConn and South Carolina has done in the very recent past. But they were, were they good? And you know how I feel about Corey Close.
I know you.
I think she's one of the coolest coaches, not in women's college basketball, in like all of sports. She was with UConn, was here for a regional. She was here for a regional with UCLA, and we were just covering them as part of Channel 13, going to practices, covering all the press conferences. And I didn't even know who she was. But sitting through one of her press conferences was one you walk away thinking like, I'm better just for having listened to her speak about her own team, the way she speaks about her players, the way she speaks about her team, about her school, about herself. Honestly, it was really cool. And I think she continues to do that. And I just think she's a really fascinating case study. And like, she just does things a little differently than everyone else, but she's highly likable. And even Staley said, like, you're happy for someone like that.
Yep.
Caitlin Clark posted something about being happy for her. So yeah, she's just a cool woman and a cool coach. And I think just someone who like empowers women, that she talks a lot about, like, be uncommon women, like be uncommon in the best way. And she's like, I don't really care about how they play basketball later on in life. I just want them to be good people, which is kind of cool.
Third largest margin of victory in a D1 women's championship final. Do you know the largest?
Well, we were a part of either the second or first because we got shellacked by UConn.
That's Syracuse. Sash is talking about.
Yeah. Sorry, we. I don't know if we were the first or second, but we had to be. We were more than 28. No doubt about that.
Yeah. And so Sam brings up a good point here, which I mentioned on the morning show when we did
was a senior, right?
Highlights. Every single point scored in that national championship game,
senior,
scored by a senior. 100% of the 79 points scored.
Right, and you're not going to get that, particularly with UConn. You're not going to get that because you get so many like top recruits who come in who needs to play right from the get-go, because if they don't play there, they're not going to stay. They're going to go somewhere else and play any other place on the planet. Despite the fact that AZ was their best player. But yeah, Sarah Strong, not a senior for that. A ton of players who just aren't seniors or don't have the experience of that kind of senior leadership. It's crazy.
Thoughts on the Gino Dawn Staley confrontation?
I've never disliked Gino more, and I dislike him
already
a decent amount. Like I just, no, he's not really my cup of tea.
Okay.
But yeah, I've never had less respect for him than I did in that moment. Like, just go out there. You got wiped in every sense of the word. You got outplayed. You got out physical. And I think that's what made him most angry. Just like you got out toughed.
Yep.
You couldn't shoot the ball. And that doesn't help. I get it. But don't make excuses. Go shake hands and walk away. And then I was even more upset about the lame, like, if you're going to make an apology, make an apology. Use the coach's name. The original apology, not once was Dawn Staley's name mentioned. Yeah. You offended her, not anyone else. You offended her. So use her name. Later on down the line, okay, he does eventually get there. You shouldn't need someone encouraging you to apologize or do the right thing.
It was bubbling at the end of the third quarter when Gino did the in-game interview with Holly Rowe in between the third and the fourth, and he was
complaining.
Yeah, he was making note of the
just that quarter, the 6-0 fouls,
disparity in fouls.
Then complained about the ripped jersey.
Ripped jersey, which Sarah Strong ripped herself out of frustration at the end of the first half. It just felt like, okay, if this one doesn't go Gino's way,
he's going to whine about
bubbling here. We don't know exactly what he said to Dawn Staley there, but she became
irate.
Very
irate.
Yeah, the reaction was intense.
Visceral.
And it was just a bad look. And you hear everybody say, like, it's a shame that has taken the attention away from what South Carolina did that night. And what those players accomplished overall. And maybe even if you're a UConn player, you feel like AZ Fudd's career, Sarah Strong, like overshadowed by that one moment there at the end of their season.
Yeah, bad on him. The hero was the UConn assistant coach who was like, no. Like you could almost read her lips. Like, that's enough. Don't do that. Whatever it was. And she was pulling him away.
Yeah.
Like, be better, Gino.
Yeah.
You've won enough. Like, okay, you didn't win this year. It didn't go your way.
Yeah.
Learn how to lose. And maybe that's the problem. You haven't learned how to lose gracefully because you haven't had to do it a lot.
Yeah. Tim's right. Mm-hmm. Sam's got his opinion here too. Like you said, sore loser, right? Yeah. You're used to success. And I think obviously despite winning last year, Gino can feel the sport maybe
shifting a little.
Yeah. It's like hard to say it's getting away from him because they didn't lose a single regular season game. But in a way, it's like that playing ground has really leveled and almost tilted away from UConn in a way.
UCLA just won its first title ever.
Yep.
So we've got programs who are doing things for the first time ever. You are getting Lauren Betts to go to a program on the West Coast. You are getting people to play, Olivia Miles to go to TCU. You're getting the best players on the planet to go to programs that aren't UConn and South Carolina because they're starting to feel like, okay, I can win other places.
We think UCLA was just that good on Easter Sunday.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. I have something going on with my eye and I can't figure it out.
UCLA, in a lot of ways, if you watch those highlights back, did what South Carolina did to UConn. They were defending intensely and making shots, and South Carolina was not. And was it the quick turnaround that hurt South Carolina more than it did UCLA? Was it the experience of the Bruins that really helped? Don't know. The WNBA draft is Monday. The turnaround from college basketball to professional basketball and women's hoops is crazy. We'll start the season in May for the WNBA. Olivia Miles, as Ash just mentioned, the transfer from Notre Dame to TCU, projected to go number 1 overall to the Dallas Wings.
Which feels like it was a little bit of a departure.
That is a flip. AZ was like the consensus number 1 for a long time.
I think I'd take AZ.
Miles played really well into the NCAA tournament. We'll see. The player from Spain going to Minnesota, AZ Fudd going to Seattle at 3. There's Lauren Betts at 4, and Flau'jae Johnson from LSU to Chicago. Chicago made news in the last week as well, trading Angel Reese to Atlanta. And now you got it in my eye too here, I think.
Sorry.
They're good.
I did it.
And now Atlanta is positioned to potentially have a really good season if they can bring all their players back. All right, let's take a timeout here on Onorato and Miller. We've got Scott Marr, the UAlbany men's lacrosse head coach, still to come. Big game between the Great Danes and Siena with such a big purpose behind it. That is on Tuesday night. We'll talk with head coach Scott Marr coming up. We've got our Dirty Difficult done. The Lakers suffering some incredibly key, devastating injuries ahead of that playoff run for LA, a team that looked like, hey, they might really be scary for some teams in the Western Conference. And it is Masters Week. Still a lot to do here on O&M. We're back in a minute.
Days like this don't happen by accident. They happen on a tracker. Alpenhaus Boats, Route 30 in Amsterdam.
Maybe this journey you're on has a purpose much greater than yourself. A purpose that goes beyond the field, the court, the gym. A crown awaits those who never give up. It's your time to dream again, to claim victory, and rise up. So what are you waiting for? It's time to rise. Claim your crown.
And now, back to Onorato and Miller. Sponsored by Alpenhaus. And now, Dirty, Difficult, and Done. Sponsored by Performance Industrial.
Bill Miller and his great crew at Performance Industrial. There's never a job too dirty or too difficult for them to get it done. Here's what's going to be difficult. A Lakers postseason run, the injuries right now.
Piling up.
Luka was first with a grade 2 hamstring, and then Austin Reeves, a grade 2 oblique.
Oh, we didn't close the parentheses.
Don't you hate when you don't?
Dang it.
Is that's not grammatical? What is that? Syntax?
Punctuation.
Punctuation.
I think it's
really
what we call it. Oh, no.
Okay.
What's happening?
I don't know.
I think it's what we call punctuation. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
I know.
It just bothers me sometimes.
So anyway, the Lakers were in position to finish third in the Western Conference. Now it looks like fifth. You've got the Thunder and San Antonio at the top, Denver and Houston rising.
And then you got to worry about, are these guys good for the playoffs?
Yeah. And look, ultimately, this was a team that was really trending upward and felt like a squad that could potentially put a scare into one of those top two teams, being OKC and San Antonio. Now, at this point, right, I mean, even LeBron just recently took a game off here recently. So it just feels like, well, I don't know if they get knocked out in the first round, but I would bet that they probably do, because if they're a 5-4 with Houston, guess who I'm picking in that 7-game series. So terrible timing here for a Lakers team. And it could spell the end, as we continue to say, of LeBron James' time in LA. Tough way to end it.
No doubt.
Is it the end for Giannis
in Milwaukee?
Hasn't played in a while here. Not quite sure. Is it injury or effort that Doc Rivers doesn't like? And it's been a year of roller coaster comments from Giannis and his commitment to the franchise.
Are you in? Are you out?
Right. He has changed his tune throughout here. 31 years old, under contract through next season. Yeah, but a lot of miles, right? I mean, a lot of miles. Yeah. My guess is this is it. They will find an offseason trade. The cap situation in Milwaukee isn't good. They still have that Damian Lillard contract that they're going to pay all the way through 2030. They invested big in Miles Turner, which hasn't really worked out. They're going to have to find something creative here to get a lot of draft picks and a young player. Like, so the Knicks fans out there who immediately are like, all right, we'll trade Cat for Giannis. That's not going to get it done.
Yeah.
If the Knicks are going to get Antetokounmpo, who has said that really New York is the only other team he would play for, that'll require a third and maybe fourth team to get the draft picks funneled over to Milwaukee. We'll see. But they won a title there.
Right.
Can't take that away from what they were able to accomplish.
It's just amazing how fast things change.
And as we know, it is a superstar league. Tim, bless you.
He believes that.
Bless you, man.
Every fiber of his being.
Yeah, and it's not even so much of like the liability for star. I don't disagree with you, Tim. I have long felt like Doc is one of the most overrated head coaches in NBA history. He won the title in Boston. He had Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, and Kevin Garnett.
Right. He had a
Rajon
big three.
Rondo was one of the best point guards in the league at that time. I had a shot to draw stuff up that was going to win with those guys. Then he goes to the Clippers, and I mean, that was underwhelming what happened there. And we can look at the type of players and gauge whether or not we thought Chris Paul and Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan were championship caliber players.
Right.
But I never felt like Doc was the right guy to lead that team. And you're right, he has worn out as well. It was such a tone deaf move, Tim, when they hired Doc Rivers, thinking like that was going to be the fix. You had to look at what he wasn't able to accomplish in LA, what he wasn't able to accomplish in Philadelphia, to know it was not going to work in Milwaukee. So you're spot on, man. All right, let's take another break here.
You couldn't agree more with all of that.
All of it. Take another break here on Onorato and Miller. When we come back, the UAlbany head coach from the men's lacrosse program, Scott Marr. Hope you stick around for this conversation as he talks about his dear friend Liam Gleason and the game Tuesday night that will be played between the Saints and the Great Danes in memory and honor of Liam. We're back right after this.
Fellows Appliance Center, our commitment is to you, providing essential appliances that families depend on for cooking, refrigeration, cleaning, and sanitation, plus appliance repair. You can have peace of mind that Marcella's is here for you today and every day, like we have been since 1957, helping you make the right choice with trusted brands like Whirlpool, Maytag, KitchenAid, and many more. Shop Marcella's Appliance Center in-store, online, or by phone. We're here for you.
Nothing better than a chance to unwind at the end of the day. And a Wellness Spa can turn your home into the perfect place to relax, catch up, and enjoy a few quiet moments. With powerful hydrotherapy jets, soothing lighting, and thoughtful design, every soak melts the day away. More relaxation, more time together, more moments to look forward to. Right now at Alpenhaus, step into your own Wellness Spa for as little as $7,995. Alpenhaus Pools and Hot Tubs, Amsterdam and Clifton Park.
And now, back to Onorato and Miller. Sponsored by Alpenhaus.
Man, it's been a while since I've had the chance to talk with UAlbany's men's lacrosse head coach, Scott Marr. Scottie, 4-game winning streak currently. Congrats on that success, undefeated in the conference as well. And you've got Vermont coming up at home this weekend. And then Siena on the other side of that. And, of course, that game has so much meaning in the Capital Region, even before we get to the crux of this year's matchup. Siena and UAlbany means so much. I think you'll get better weather, finally, for a lacrosse game outdoors. It's good to see you, man. How are you?
You too, Chris. Awesome to see you, brother. Life is good. Life is good. We're moving along, and the team is definitely coming together the way I thought it would. With this team, we played some really good competition. We're 6-4 right now. We've lost all 4 of the teams we lost to. I think UMass just fell out of the top 20, but the other 3 teams are in the top 20 still. So again, just our strength of schedule has been great. But this, since been in the conference, again. Just playing at a good clip and getting some guys healthy actually. So been really haven't had our full offense together all season, and still haven't. So we'll see how that plays out. But just a lot of guys contributing and stepping up. But it's been a fun season so far, and huge game Saturday versus Vermont, like you're saying. This will determine for us. We could be, take the number 1 seed and be home field for the tournament. So that's huge for us. So looking forward to this weekend.
You mentioned that you thought it might take some time for this group to realize its potential. What are you seeing now that you kind of thought you would eventually see?
Well, I don't know if I was so much into that it would take so much time for this team. This team, again, is a pretty veteran team. Our seniors have now been to two championships and playoffs, and our juniors the same thing. So it was really just a matter, in a sense, just working towards playing that complete game. And again, first game of the year where we take it to the last second with Cornell and we lose by a goal, and then we have a tough quarter against Penn. So it's really more about this team growing. Again, every team's different, every year's different, but growing together and going through the ups and downs of the season. And having a bad quarter in a couple of games hurt us. Penn game, UMass game, we're close, and we're in those games that just have about a 10-minute span of nothing good really happening in a sense. But every team, it's a process every year, and again, I love this team. I love our overall attitude, and the kids are every day at practice, just a ton of fun to be around, and they're learning the lessons. And again, we've really dialed in these last 4 weeks and starting to do things at a really high level, and just have a lot of confidence right now, which is great. But yeah, it's again, learning process, and we're just getting into May now. To April now, and we still have 4 games left in regular season. So feel good about it, though. Like I said, I've really enjoyed being around this group of kids these last couple of years. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, 2 at home, 2 on the road to finish things out here. This will either be a stupid question or there's some validity to it. How difficult has it been this year, given the weather we've had?
Yeah, it's just, it is upstate New York. We just got to go with the flow. Obviously that first Siena game canceled because it was going to be, 10 degrees, I think, in March. And, we would have to practice yesterday, and it was snowing, in April. So I think it presents challenges, but at the same time, honestly, like, you get a day like Saturday's going to be in the 60s, and, you almost forget about them towards the end of the season. Once it starts getting warm, you kind of forget about it. But, everybody deals with it. It's been a pretty good winter all the way, even down into the south. So, we deal with it every year, but it's, I'm glad we're starting to turn the corner here a little bit.
All right, let's talk about that Siena game, Scottie. It's coming up on Tuesday, moved a full month from when it was originally going to be played. And, of course, there's so much meaning for fans in the Capital Region anytime UAlbany and Siena get together, no matter the sport. Mm-hmm. But this year, with the passing of your dear friend, Liam Gleason, how much more do you kind of look at this game differently? In terms of shining a light on who Liam was and what family, he still has here, and how you are still a part of that whole life.
Yeah, obviously a very unfortunate situation with Coach Gleason passing in late November. And Liam had been with me for a long time, over 20 years. I recruited him in 2003. Didn't come right away, but then came to school in 2006, and pretty much made himself a permanent figure in this area in the Capital Region. Never really left. Went to Siena after college, but Liam, we're calling it a larger than life game because that's just who Liam was. He was a very, very enthusiastic person for life. If you were around Liam, he was constantly smiling, joking with you. He was very. He was really good at just connecting with people, and he had his personality was just such. He was, like I said, he was all about life and having fun. But he really was a genuine person. He was one of those guys, again, would help you do anything, would want to be around to have fun and go out and do stuff with his kids and go out on the boat, and just again, Liam, He meant a lot to me. Again, when we spend so much time together in those years, especially the time when he coached with me from 11 to 18, and 7 years, 8 years of coaching together. You spend so much time together when you're coaching and you're on the road and you're in the office, and he lived less than a mile from me here now, and his family still does. And obviously I saw the birth of all of his kids. You know, I've known them since they were babies and born, and obviously knew Jacqueline when she was in school, and you know, was, you know, all the stuff, everything you think about that you would do with your best friend, and you know, it's just it was a tough one. It was a tough one to take. Just being a freak accident and how he passed, and you know, it just again the suddenness of it really was tough to deal with, and you know, and things are getting better. Time obviously, you know, heals some things, and you know, you move past, and kids are pretty resilient. The kids have school and sports and doing stuff, and you know, I think again, you know, for Jacqueline, really, it's more difficult in the sense of she has her good days and has her bad days, and I do get to see them quite a bit. I do some stuff with the kids, and you know, we try to interact with them, and you know, I do some basketball and some lacrosse with Penn, his middle one, and Coach Thompson too has done a great job of just being around, and you know, we go to Kennedy's soccer games, and now Kennedy's starting to play lacrosse again too, and you know, Tate, his youngest, is Merrick's godson, so they, you know, take him up for some ice cream at Stewart's and all that kind of stuff. So everybody's kind of chipping in. They've had a really good support system, you know, over time. The lacrosse world was very, very generous to Jay and her family, you know, when things happened in early December there. So, you know, again, it's you know, it's never going to go away. You know, obviously, it's always going to be there for all of us to you know, kind of have them in our heart, and for Jay, again, it's a daily kind of you know, you got to get through the day, I guess, in a way. But again, I think they are moving along pretty good.
What will you guys be able to do Tuesday night? Again, it's a home game at Casey Stadium, UAlbany and Siena. What will you guys be able to do Tuesday night to bring attention to the cause, right? If somebody goes and just doesn't know that that's happening.
Well, I think the biggest thing, again, with Liam, and it was pretty well documented that he was an organ donor.
Right.
It was interesting because not long before he passed this last year, he got a new license in the mail, and it didn't have his organ donor status on his license. So he went right down to DMV and really made it a point that he had to get a new license with his donor card. So you know, he really again, his compassion for people and his you know, his enthusiasm for life. Obviously, after he passed, he was able to immediately save 6 people's lives. You know, and that's amazing. And then I think countless other people got different things, ligaments and whatnot. So he donated his whole body, which is just amazing. So his foresight to help people even after he passes was on the forefront of his mind. Again, he was really mad at the DMV that he didn't get that it wasn't on there. So you know, you didn't want Liam to be mad at you. But I think some of the things we're doing, you know, obviously the Tuesday night there will be 2 different Donate for Life will be there, and then it's called Lax for Life is another organ donation group that'll be there. So we're gonna have QR codes, and again, it's Organ Donor Month awareness, so it's kind of appropriate that we're doing it now in April as opposed to back in March. So getting that awareness out, and hopefully getting some people to sign up to be organ donors and see the importance of it. Again, just trying to stress this is going to be more of a celebration of Liam's life. During the day, we're going to plant a tree on campus right around the stadium. We're just kind of figuring out where we're going to put it today. So we're going to plant a tree for him. His nickname was the Tree. I think the correlation between the tree and the game of lacrosse, our sticks, you know, originally with the Haudenosaunee, you know, came from the earth and from the tree. So our sticks are made out of tree. Our traditional stick is from a tree. So and again, his nickname being the Tree, so we figured that would be an appropriate thing to have. And it's something, again, we're going to put a plaque underneath it and kind of describe Liam's life, and much like the kind of Siena did in their athletic department, just kind of something there to remember him every day when you walk out to the field and when you walk out. Again, he had such an impact on our team, you know, really since I've been here. Again, he got there in 06, so 20 out of the 26 years I've been here, you know, Liam was part of the program. So he obviously, as a coach too, made so many connections with our alumni and again, people in the area. You know, Liam and I ran a club team together. So again, I think we're hoping, you know, that we can sell this thing out and really have a great celebration of Liam's life. Before the game, we're going to have a nice video tribute of Liam, obviously starting from his playing days and going all the way through. So we have a nice compilation of his some video of him playing, and then and then obviously coaching with us, then coaching at Siena and all that good stuff. So I think it's going to be a great night to celebrate his life, and again, hopefully that people will come out and just show their support like they did in December for his service, and yep. Again, it's hard to quantify what people do in their life, and how they touch people and how they impact people's lives. And as coaches, we really interact with a lot of people, and in the business that we're in, we have 50 guys on our team, and that's 50 people a year, and bringing in 10, 12, 15 guys a new year and every year, and all the recruiting and all the people you see on the recruiting trail and you meet, and you'd be really hard pressed to find anyone that would say anything negative about Liam. And again, he just, it didn't matter who you were at a recruiting event, a coach just breaking into the system, or breaking into the business, or an older veteran, they knew who he was, and he just, you would sit down next to him, and he probably would distract you from doing your job, but in recruiting. But again, he just had that personality that everybody just kind of gravitated towards, and his impact on our program, and I know the Siena guys feel the same way, and all the people that played for him at Siena, the kids, again, just and again, you see that, and then you see it come to fruition. Unfortunately, when he passes, how many people did reach out, and how many people for me personally, the number of text messages I got, in that time period was overwhelming, to a point. How many people reached out just to send their condolences, and and the same for Timmy at Siena and all the people he touched there. So again, you got to remember, Liam started with Siena in 2009 and 8, with Brian Brecht, and then came over to me, and again, it's just so many people in this area he touched.
Scottie, last thing here, game specific. And you mentioned Tim Cox. I had an opportunity to talk with him before the season started, and obviously they were, the favorites in the preseason poll to win the MAC, which I know all coaches love those preseason polls to put a little bit of expectation on. But they're playing well. Yeah. What do you expect in the matchup overall, knowing Tim the way you do?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, you have to really, this is going to. You have to give Tim so much credit for what he's been able to do in a situation. I don't think anybody in their right mind would want to get a job as a head coach. When your head coach passes away, especially at an early age. It's one thing if Liam was in his 80s and passed away, or 70s and retired, and Tim took over after retiring. To handle the situation right off the bat, in a sense, when it first happened, obviously I communicate with Tim quite a bit. He has done a remarkable job of keeping his team together, keeping them focused on what their task is, in a sense of their, this is the kids' lives. I mean, and again, obviously Liam had a big part of that, but it is important for them to continue their lives and go on and reach the goals that they want to reach, and that easily could have been derailed, and the team could have been, went in different direction. So Tim's done an unbelievable job of just keeping this group together, but motivating them every day, and then getting them to perform at a high level. And they've played very, very well. I've been very impressed with what they've done. I've watched a bunch of their games. I communicate with Tim quite a bit. I'm in a little bit of a group chat with the seniors, so I text with them. Try to text them before and after every game. I think I've missed a couple here in the last couple of weeks. It's been getting pretty crazy, but I try to catch up with them and just show my support for them, and and kind of keep them going in a way too. But Tim has done just an unbelievable job, and they're very talented. And again, they were picked number one for a reason, and they're playing that way right now, playing with a lot of confidence. It's unfortunate that Patrick Radomski broke his foot. He was having a tremendous season. He's a really, really nice kid. We recruited Patrick as well. Just a super nice kid, and it felt terrible for him to break his foot in the season that he was having. But yeah, they're very, very talented, and for us, we're going to have to be prepared, to play them as we are for every opponent. Of quick turnaround. You know, we play Saturday, then we only have really Sunday and Monday to prepare for them. So I guess the good thing is I have watched a bunch of their games, so I do know quite a bit about them. But it's going to be a challenge. Last year's game in the playoffs was 11-9. It was a really highly competitive game, and I don't see this game being any different.
Saturday's up first, Vermont, 5 o'clock at home. Tuesday night is that Siena game. Liam Gleason will be honored. 7 o'clock and remembered as well. That's both those games at KC Stadium. Scottie, man, it's so good to see you, man. It's been a while, as you know. I hope we'll see each other in person soon. Thank you, man. Good luck.
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate you.
Maybe this journey you're on has a purpose much greater than yourself. A purpose that goes beyond the field, the court, the gym. A crown awaits those who never give up. It's your time to dream again, to claim victory, and rise up. So what are you waiting for? It's time to rise. Claim your crown.
Grab the family and get on the water in style with a Barletta pontoon featuring the power of a Mercury outboard motor. You'll be slicing through the waves with a smoother, quieter ride, leaving you to relax and soak up the sun. Whether you're cruising with a family or tubing and skiing, Barletta and Mercury will give you the best ride on the lake. With their unmatched reliability and refined performance, Barletta and Mercury won't let anything hold you back from having a summer you'll never forget. So don't wait. Stop by Alpenhaus Boats and start your next adventure today. Check out our great selection on Route 30 in Amsterdam and online at alpenhausboats.com.
And now, back to Onorato and Miller. Sponsored by Alpenhaus.
Always great to talk with Scott Marr. And as I said to him at the beginning, it's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I was able to see him, talk to him. So good to catch up with Scottie. And that game again Tuesday night. 7 o'clock at KC Stadium on UAlbany's campus for the Great Danes and the Saints. Sam is queuing it up here. Hello, friends. Trademarked, I believe. So I'll write the check to Jim Nance. The Masters music, Magnolia Lane, all of it. And Sam's been there. So very cool. And it is such a great tournament to just lock in, and you hope that Sunday, right, that you get great golf, that back nine.
That it's still interesting on Sunday.
Golfers in play, and you hope for big names, of course, but I just hope that you get 2 to 5 golfers within a few shots of one another to make things interesting. Here's what we've got going here at the Masters. Scottie Scheffler, the 2-time champ, 2022, 2024. Green jacket winner is the betting favorite at plus 500. Bryson DeChambeau, John Rahm plus 1,000 behind him. I am going to take either
a dark horse.
Well, Xander Schauffele or Ludwig Åberg.
Ludwig
to win. I think they're like plus 1650, plus 1750.
Is that who you're actually going to take?
Yeah.
You're going to put money on him?
I have Xander already.
All right.
I have Xander already.
I like Xander a lot.
Yeah, me too. He's playing good golf. And I don't know. It just doesn't feel like it's going to be one of these bigger favorites.
It no longer feels like Scottie is unbeatable.
No, definitely not.
For a while.
Yes, like right. It felt like if he enters a tournament, he's going to win it. We have a dog this week.
Yeah, there's a dog.
Hey, Ellie.
What are you doing?
And I think she's searching for her squirrels.
Yeah, or a ball or something.
Yeah. Sam's going Tommy Fleetwood. Okay.
The Fleet. Oh, Carol, don't forget Rory.
Yep, Rory.
Defending champ, Masters dinner.
Gonna win him back to back. Don't know. But you hope he's involved come Sunday. He just makes things interesting.
My parents are going to the bunker tomorrow to play a little indoor golf while the Masters is up on the TV.
There you go.
Not a bad way to do it. If it's not super, it's still a little chilly here. Sunny today, but
tomorrow better.
Good setting.
Sunny again. A little warmer. I will be on the couch after watching the Masters. Yeah, absolutely.
And then watching softball.
Yep, absolutely. You want to make a pick? I mean, Ellie
What's happening over here, kid?
Going for those squirrels for sure. You're right, Al.
Come here.
All right.
You want to be on TV?
Nah, she doesn't want to be on TV. Here's a note that I thought was interesting, only because it creates the conversation of what is Houston going to do with CJ Stroud?
Oh.
We know Will Anderson's part of the franchise's future.
You don't think CJ is?
Not the way he's played the last 2 years. I mean, phenomenal rookie season.
Yes.
After that, he has created questions about whether or not he really is the franchise quarterback going forward.
Okay.
Too many turnovers, has struggled in big games.
I don't think I'd be done with him just yet.
Me neither. That's why you pick up the option and you say, okay.
Here it is.
Yes.
This is your shot.
Right.
And maybe you make it that obvious. Like, this is it. This is your tryout, for lack of a better word.
Yep.
Figure it out or don't, because you won't be here next year if you don't.
Yeah. I mean, we know how desperate NFL teams get just to keep quarterbacks. We've seen it with the Dolphins and Tua. We saw it with the Giants and Daniel Jones, where you're like, hey, this is our, not maybe a great option, but it's our best current option. So we've got to stick with it. All right. I can't see that clock up there. So keep
55-30.
All right. Sam's going to go play golf in Myrtle Beach. Good for you, Sam.
Oh, Sam.
Warmer
that sounds
there.
Much better than here.
Yes.
It's just a whoa. I guess she really does want to be on TV. You want to be on TV? You gotta be quiet. Shh. Come here.
Dinner's down. Belly wants to eat.
She wants to be done. She wants to play.
She'll be able to eat.
You want to play.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. She's had enough of this show. Maybe some of you have already as well. You know.
You disagree? What are you disagreeing with? What did we say? You think CJ's going to be the quarterback of the future? All right, we'll find out.
Yeah, maybe Ellie's got a Masters
They heard you.
pick. Yeah,
they heard you say woof. Who does she most resemble? She's got a little Fleetwood in her with the hair and the ears.
She's a golden doodle.
Yeah,
a little Fleetwood, right? With the
flow.
Yeah.
Maybe she likes Fleetwood. Who else do you resemble? I don't know.
Okay.
Oh.
You making a pick for the Masters here?
Oh. I don't want to go with like usual suspects.
Okay.
Give me some other good options that I can not. Spieth feels like he hasn't been relevant in forever.
I have a little on Spieth to finish top 5 because he has 6 top 4 finishes,
in the Masters?
believe, at the Masters.
So he likes the Masters.
Obviously, he's won it there as well. He does. Everything you read is like, oh, his game sets up perfectly for Augusta, and that has proved to be true over the years.
Okay, I don't know that he's going to win it. I'm not sure I'd want
him
to win it.
I don't think he's going to win it either.
Maybe have a good performance.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't have a pick.
Okay.
I don't like picking golf. It's one person out of a field.
Not easy.
It's
not easy. I like a little bit of action on Akshay Bhatia to play well this weekend. Cameron Young has won recently.
Is Tony Finau still playing golf?
Of course he is. Sure he is. Yeah. All right. We'll be locked into the Masters. Ellie is quietly kind of growling there.
Judging.
JJ Spawn won last weekend, not out of nowhere, but like that was a heck of a win by JJ Spawn. And so if you like a dark horse, I like Sam's pick there of JJ Spawn to maybe get it done at the Masters this week. Either way, enjoy the golf, everybody. Enjoy the baseball. We've got a lot to check in on at your leisure, if you will. So enjoy all of it. We'll be back next week on Onorato and Miller. Have a good weekend.